I'm Dr. Jenny Fisher, a Senior Lecturer in the Department of Social Care and Social Work.
I'm Hayley Atkinson and I work as an e-learning developer. So that means I tend to support staff with the use of technology within their teaching and learning, and I work within the Department of Social Work and Social Care.
I became aware while doing some work in preparing lectures of the increasing use of animations in promoting social care good practice and also sharing information about social care services, and had the idea that it would be fantastic if students could work alongside me to develop animations about social care services. So I spoke to Hayley Atkinson about introducing animation into assessment with second year students. Previously, students have researched a social care organisation and a community, and they have done a group PowerPoint presentation as their assessment. So this year, they're now making a short animation to talk about the community, but also to talk about the work of the social care organisation.
We used seminars to support students in creating animations. So we used activities that at the end of the day were often quite similar to the ways that you might support them if they were going to be producing an essay. So for example, storyboarding, thinking about how you're going to plan out your animation. And I think one of the ways we try to help students in doing that was thinking if you were doing an essay, you would think about your structure and your argument and how that would flow. And storyboarding is how you do that visually for your animation. So thinking about different scenes and what information you might want to portray in those. And we also used peer assessment to help them to support each other as well. And part of this was to do with thinking about not animation being the focus of what we're doing, but actually animation is the way they're going to portray the learning that they've done along the way.
I suppose for me, I'd begun personally to find PowerPoints quite tedious, and I found my experience was that students were putting too much information on slides, and despite support, etc., and they felt they needed to cram loads of information in, and I didn't feel that actually students were learning and internalising the learning. Hannah Morgan talks about liminal spaces, that if we want to understand a concept, a threshold concept, we need to actually do it and practice it. And for me, animations offered a way of a student being more creative and also not merely typing information into a PowerPoint, but having to think through how to present and how to animate the information that they'd researched. There is also research that shows that if students create artifacts, so in art and design, this might be a picture, it might be a garment, the creation of artifacts for other audience also supports the learning process with students.
Your PowerPoints tend to be dry facts and figures, whereas even if some students did make their animations quite PowerPoint-like still, because they were using characters, they tended to tell stories from the first person quite often, which I don't think I've seen in any of the previous examples. A lot of the groups, they're on placement at the moment, and so a lot of them chose to use the organisation where one of the students was on placement and do their animation around this particular organisation. So one group had actually used the service user voice, so they had interviewed them and they had asked them to actually provide the voiceovers for the animation, and that was really, really powerful in the final animation and worked really well. And I think, just credit to the students, they'd used their contacts really well in that particular area.
From a personal perspective, I've learned an awful lot. I've learned how to do animations. I really, really enjoy doing them. I've also learned a lot more about creative methods of assessment and learning and teaching. And I've met through the project an awful lot of people who I didn't previously know at Manchester Metropolitan University, and it's generated a succession of ideas and opportunities.
I think one of the things I really liked is that the students were very proud of their storyboards, and they came and a lot of them handed in their storyboards to us in the final assessment, so I think that helps them a lot in their structure and their planning. It's something they could work together to do really well.
Thank you for watching this Good Practice Exchange film. You can find lots more teaching ideas and resources on our website.